Welcome back to my beginner series on how to play the bagpipes. So this will be lesson number 5 and it will be part number 3 of learning to play the bagpipe scale, up the scale. So if you're just here, first time here, great to see you. Returning people, even better. Up above my head here will be a link to the playlist with all the videos from 1 onwards. And enough of that, let's get into the lesson. So previously we learned to do the first 5 notes of the bagpipe scale from low G up to D, and then separately we learned to play the top 4 notes, so from E up to high A. So now what we need to do is link these 2 pieces together, and with that comes the most technical change on the bagpipe scale, and that's going from a D, which is this position, to an E, which is this position. So as you can see, there's a lot going on here with the bottom hand. The top hand doesn't have too much to do. All you're really going to do when you're going up the way is to lift your ring finger at the correct moment. But the bottom hand, looking at the bottom hand just in isolation, you're going to go from a D like this, and these 3 fingers here are going to go down onto the chanter, and your pinky has got to come off the chanter at exactly the same time. So you've got to go from this position to this position at the same time. It's quite a lot of coordination. It'll take time and concentration to achieve it. So that's sort of part 1. And what you can do with that is, if you want to just play, if you go to a D position, just put your top hand on as normal, go to a D position, and then try to achieve a low A. So D to low A, and it should sound like this. As I say, that is the most difficult part, and we've spoken in previous videos about horrible sort of crossing noises. This one will get you a cracking crossing noise if you're not careful. I mean, obviously it's a lot of coordination to get everything down at exactly the same time, but we need to avoid sort of things that sound like this. That sort of the first one was very distinct, so we put all our fingers on before we lifted our pinky off. It all has to happen at the same time, and the second one was just not quite achieving a proper seal on the holes at exactly the same time. So again, I'll play it how it should sound. And that's it. So that's sort of if we break it down, that's sort of the first thing to maybe look at doing. And then all we're going to do to finish the movement off is add in our component on our top hand. So as I said earlier there in the video, it's all you've really to do with your top hand is to lift your ring finger off. So when all these fingers go down and your pinky comes off, as your pinky comes off, your ring finger has to come up. So from, if you look, your bottom hand, everything goes down, and the pinky and the ring finger come up. So it's really important to take your time and really focus on the technicality and get a really clean change. 2 very distinct notes, nothing in between. Playing this a certain way will give you the ghost note, or sort of phantom crossing noise that we've spoken about previously, but playing this another way, or not achieving the changeover, not being technically proficient with it, will result in a really glaring sort of 3-note change. So I'll play the change correctly, and then I'll show you a couple of ways that it'll sound a bit funky, shall we say. So correctly. So here that's just 2 separate notes, nothing in between, everything happening at exactly the same time. So sort of common pitfalls or sounds to avoid would be like this. So you can hear that's playing an E, and then there's a B noise in the middle. E, B, E, like that. D, B, E, rather. And that is a cracking crossing noise. That is a number 1 sound you'll hear there, and that's just the timing is just not quite there. That's your D fingers going down, but your fingers for your E position not coming off the chanter in time. So if we go the other way, where we lift the fingers off before we get them down in time, you'll achieve a sound a little bit like this. So. You hear that? It's difficult to do over video, it's maybe not quite as clear, but you can hear that. It's a similar sort of sound to the B-C change or the top hand, high G, high A. And again, that's as undesirable, although it's a lot more subtle, it's as undesirable, so we want to really eliminate that. And you've just got to be very patient with it. It is a difficult move to achieve so early on, and stick with it. Perseverance pays off, as they say. And once you get that transition from the bottom hand to the top hand, then we can practice the whole scale from the bottom note, low G, to high A. So we'll play that now. And that's it. So have a practice, have a try of that. Comment below with any thoughts you might have or difficulties. Get in touch and I can give you some pointers, and most of all, have fun and like and subscribe.